I'm going to play some ads as soon as I can and let people wander their way back. And we'll be back to the tarot, okay? Without any interruptions. Thanks so much. So, wasn't it funny how I pointed out that there was like a wall of confusion on things and it was like a psychic Pokemon? Okay, but did you see the Triscuits? Because they are triangles. They're gay. They're the thin ones. Skinny Legends. Amazing. You have no idea. It's the most delicious cracker I've ever had. Is the gay Triscuits. These are spicy gay Triscuits. Mm-hmm. You have no idea. No idea. Imagine a Triscuit, but it's like the right thickness. And then it's half of the square. They said Triscuit, but make it. It's perfect. It's the perfect cracker. So, tea and Triscuits, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Like 100%. So good. I cannot express enough. They do not sponsor me. But if they were giving me Triscuits, I would be so happy, you know? They're so good. So, okay, so isn't it odd that I was talking about 444? That psychic Pokemon bullshit and wall of confusion, and I was singing the song, and the second time it came up, my internet cut out only on my laptop and not on my actual other devices. Just the laptop. All of the internets in the area, just except for one hidden network. Creepy. Whereas usually the list is like, let me look right now. How many internets I'm in range of typically? Okay, maybe it is only just the two, but still very creepy. That it was just this stream got disrupted. My phone never actually disconnected from the Wi-Fi, despite it. So, take it how it resonates, but when I held up this card and said wall of confusion, my fucking connection got lost. Okay, so wall of confusion. Okay, just a thought. You might have to like address that. It's loud as hell. And then there was that slimy energy. This first position, like weird, like there's worse things than a reptilian. Relax. We've got work to do type energy. The feminine stepping into the masculine becoming more organized. That is the only focus this year, because the thing is, it's not all about men and women. I know I sometimes give men shit because sometimes there's a lot of men that watch my channel and I'm like, you masculines, as in the men. But I will say fire and air signs could probably, need their tidying, also their organization skills, I think, as well. Like, the earth and water being a little more maternal too, and being able to balance those things somewhat better in so many scenarios, but also the feminine needing to step back and think with the more logical mind and watch the other work and whatnot. And it's all about kind of changing perspective and therefore changing perception. Swapping perspective to change your perception. Gossip. Oh my gosh. Queen of Air. Like, that looks like karma to me. I don't know. I can't remember correctly. Can I? It's all about how you perceive things. Got Mother and King of Fire. The masculines one step behind the feminines at all times, basically. So, never forget. I cannot right now. No. That's it. That's all you get. No. Listen. Wouldn't even think twice about it. It's old. It's like, what are you gonna do? I live for myself, and sometimes myself don't even want to live, to be honest with you. And here I do persevere every month after month after month with this insidious bullshit just for everyone else to act childish, when I literally would half the time rather opt out of the entire experience and for people to make it even more difficult, aka not being able to manage my stress and therefore not being able to manage my triggers as well. Yes, that is absolutely fucking infuriating to me, for sure. Having PTSD sucks. Having PTSD triggered by my period every month is, like, unbearable. I am trying to find the light. I am literally trying to find the light. Emotion and intellect, using your wise mind, okay? Knowing yourself so deeply and knowing exactly what you want, going for it. And desire, putting it out there and saying it, right? I don't know. Don't know. Stop it. It's like I didn't need to say anything or do much. I couldn't tell. Who? Me. That's that energy. It's like I didn't need to say anything or Healing your inner child, healing youth, healing the love you lost, the life you lived, the aging and growing of the human process. Understanding that life can be as infinite as it ever was in any moment, because any of those moments it could have ended. So, what difference does it make, okay, where you're at? If the journey can end at any time, stop lusting after youth. Stop fetishizing youth. Stop achieving youth. Stop trying for youth. It's a lie. There's no such thing, because you can die at any time. That's why the insane, insatiable search towards this fountain of youth is like so redundant, because that is so insulting to young people everywhere who simply never get to grow older. You bastards. Okay? Stop fetishizing youth. Queen of Air, cutting it off. No such law as one's own morals. The hero, balancing up the swords. Gay stuff, as always. Healing the connections within, healing parts of the self, healing your masculine relationships. I dropped the hero. You drop this. And I'm about to drop it too. You know what I mean? I swear nobody gives a shit. Not even you. Don't look like that, though. Do it. No. No. If you didn't give a shit, you wouldn't be holding two swords. Especially if one of them was making your life more difficult. Seek your brethren. Seek your masculine and the fire relationships, the air relationships. Find that side of you. The side that's going to stand up and do something. Or just kiss that dude. Just fucking go kiss your bros, dude. It's a whole journey. What is stopping you from taking this journey? Okay? Emotion and intellect. There's something like, is my emotions clouding my intellect? Yeah. I cannot even fathom how different I was at 18 than I was at 25, and it's really gross that people are like, oh, once they're 18, like, what is wrong with you? If you still have to say teen, she is simply too young for you, bro. That is so disgusting. Like, how do you not hear that? No, that's like just disgusting, bro. No way. Cannot. And like, people's perception of it, like, let people do what they want, let kids do what they want, and it's like, you're so malleable at that time, you're so easily influenced, and now that all these kids are on tablets and have phones and stuff, exactly, once you are of age, you realize how young that really is. Like, you just got out of high school, who's trying to hit that? Like, literally, do you remember you in high school? And then you're like, oh, I just graduated high school, and that's somehow sexy to grown-ass men. Huh? That's just pedophiles with more steps. That's like, there's a whole word for people who fetishize teenagers, and anyone who tries to tell you that's for 14 and 15-year-olds and 16, 17, and 18 is legal is literally disgusting. Even 19 is really like, why though? Again, if you still have to say teen, that's a no. That's like a yes, of course it's too young. There should be that's a no-brainer. Laws like laws of consent are for teenagers to have sex with each other without getting in trouble. So laws of consent are 16. So teenagers don't get tickets if they get caught having sex with each other. It's an indecent exposure instead of a fucking statutory rape. It's so they can have sex with each other. Okay? Like, what the fuck is wrong with people? And we need to hold it to a higher standard and recognize it for what it is. Like, quite simply put. is disgusting, manipulative, soft brain shit. Because the thing is, if you are seeking someone fresh out of high school, then you want someone that you can control because they have known nothing but control their whole lives. They've been in the educational system since day one, and at that point, they've had no sense of freedom, and you want to swoop them up before they do. Shame on you. Shame on you. Don't think you're welcome on this channel. Fucking weirdos. People who date teenagers, grown-ass people who date teenagers. Yeah. 21 to 25 is huge. It's weird, right? Like, you can no longer resonate with people who are 21 once you're 25. It's such a different experience because, once again, you're tasting your first forms of freedom at that age. Yeah, and that's also, like, a lot of casting throughout the 80s and 90s is, like, these male leads who are, like, 60 plus with female leads who are, like, 25 to 30 at the most. It's like, why the fuck are you casting? Even in the 30s and 40s, it was like 18-year-old girls and 40-year-old men just casted together side by side. Why? Why? Why fetishize this weird fucking sought-after, youthful, tight-skinned? You're pedophiles. You're pedophiles. Stop making us feel guilty about aging and being grown-ass people and grown-ass women who know what we want and know who we are, and you're intimidated by it and want someone that you can create in your own image. Have a baby. Don't fuck a child. Like, don't be fucking disgusting about it, you know? Go work out your issues in therapy and then decide how you feel about teenagers. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Kind of, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It really, truly is. And that's why it's like, I understand that not everyone's going to believe that there's satanic blood rituals going on with the pedophilia that happens inevitably in places like Hollywood because there's an accumulation of rich people. But at the same time, it's very far-fetched for us to keep believing that these things aren't happening when there's never been a time in society when they haven't happened, and also when it's not so casually accepted, even on the internet, of people being like, well, as long as it's legal, I don't see anything wrong with it. Like, how do you not see something wrong with a 52-year-old fucking a 19-year-old? That you have to question yourself there. If you have to say teen, you're gross. If you add teen at the end of her name, you're disgusting. And everything else is, like, still kind of like, you know, we talked about this on stream the other night, where it's like, once you're a cognizant full adult, like in your 30s or whatever, like, no hate towards Sarah Paulson and her partner. I think they're great, you know? It's, yeah, it's disgusting. And they're still literally teenagers who are sometimes still, I was in high school when I was 18. High school, bro. High schoolers are so mad annoying and so fucking dumb. They don't know anything about the world. They have no idea how anything works. You literally want to manipulate them if that is what you're after. That's so gross and hurtful. Yeah. Oh my god, because they were staying there too. It's like this fucking cliche Matt, whatever his name is, Matthew McConaughey. I keep getting older and they say that. Yeah, okay, well, welcome. Came in at a weird time. We're doing like this weird twin flame reading, so I don't know if somebody's dealing with like someone in their life, but it's also like it's aliens too, where like some of these species are like probably doing that, and that's like the genetic material throughout human history that you see traces of these civilizations that honor things like pedophilia, such as they do in America and other countries in the world, right? Describe. Somebody write this down. Yeah, God, it's so disgusting. And then they're like, wow, a cool older college guy. Who's Minnie Illy? Oh, Minnie Illy, hi. She said hi. She said, I like your song. You've been practicing something, and it's coming along great. Okay. Fifth position, air. It's time to take the mask off and realize you still can't see shit. The mother right here. Yeah, no, that shit is fucking hella whack, bro. It's weird that it came up during this reading, but it's also not weird because it seems very on point with like the whole thing about alien colonization, or the way humans are like maybe not worth saving. If this is how they act and this is how they think, then it's like, how do we get rid of that? Because that's disgusting. We have other issues we can fight about. We do not need this. There's whole ass wars going on. Why are we arguing with pedophiles every day? That seems like a very bizarre happenstance of the internet and also society as is. Okay? Something is stopping us from being in our full flame masculines. King of Fire, but it's being blocked by what? Feminines orchestrating something, trying to manifest something, trying things to go their way. The feminines are reaching with their third eye. They're seeing with their third eye. They're moving in the flow of the astral and the fifth dimension, and the masculines are not quite there yet, where they're in the process of opening up their truest selves so that they can behold, or when the feminine opens their eyes, they'll be in full form, you know? And then once again, didn't we already do this with the journey was being blocked? What's stopping the masculines? Yeah, emotion and intellect. Use your wise mind. It's about the balance of the two. It's not about removing all of the emotions in it and going fully intellectually, but rather allowing your intuitions. I think that's the perfect way to describe it. Your intelligence allows you to know how much of your emotions to show and how much to say and how much to express, rather than allowing either one to completely control the situation. And it's a typical therapeutic tool to find the wise mind. I think it's DBT, right? The balance between logic and feelings. So emotion and intellect. It's not about choosing one or the other. Like, do I just confess my feelings, or do I come at this from a business standpoint? And it's like, maybe I let this person know how I feel, but that I also am coming from a business standpoint. Like that kind of energy of like, you know, how do I have this relationship with them, but I want it to be something else, but I appreciate what it is, kind of thing. It's a big one, but you'll figure it out, you stupid reptilian brains. Because you can't just communicate mentally on this planet, unfortunately. It's just not the way of the land, and therefore it does not count as a message, no. It does not matter if it was received, it doesn't count. Dropped a bunch of cards, too. Healing, it's time for healing. Body and mind, and then, like, looking up, things are getting better. Body and mind here, once again, becoming more calculated. The masculines becoming more calculated and realizing how much goes into these things. King of Fire, again, intuition, again. It's about the masculines leading with their intuition. Go where you are called. Follow what follows you. I mean, come on, dude. Just like, that's so wild. That's so wild. King of Fire. Use your intuition. Whether you're a fire sign male or something else, use your intuition. There's no other way. Okay. The Mother, integrity, 5th position air, 5th position earth. No worries. Hello, shadow. How long have you looked in the shadows? Oh no, you just followed me. Welcome. We're in the midst of a reading. I don't do personal readings. You should see that written right there. And you didn't say anything, so I'm not going to hold it against you. Okay. So there's a lot going on. Who cares? What are these? So take my hand, I disappear to another. World so far from here, well, I don't know you, but I sure like to. I just see the light, it looks like you. I don't know if that's the right words, but it's Matt Berry. The Father, okay, that's interesting. We just had the Mother up there. And love. Cool. There's an offer. Are you going to take it? Because the offer is love in its truest forms, its truest definitions. Thank you. It makes me happy how many people say that on my stream. Wisdom, right? Knowledge is acquiring information. Wisdom is putting it into action. Well, wisdom is putting it into practice. Intelligence is putting it into action. And y'all need to get more calculated. Gotta keep them calculated. Gotta keep this bitch sedated. I think some is overrated. I think tuba players hated. All the things we said outdated. Okay, I don't know. I got a bunch of cards. That was a freestyle. It's not like a... Okay. Gotta keep them separated. Yeah. Oh, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to put this deck away now. It cannot just be all about you. Once again, go to my website, buy yourself a reading if you're so goddamn curious. Talk to me directly if it concerns you to do so. I cannot handle fucking disruptions anymore. I've learned to manage it in my own life, but when it comes to the screens, it's a lot. No. It's a lot harder to fucking manage. Okay? No, it's not you. Could be somebody who's sitting in front of a mirror, though. Could be me. Like if you physically have the screen you're watching facing a mirror, like there's a mirror behind you in the room, it might be you that I'm talking to. 'Cause I'm talking to myself, maybe. That'd be the only explanation if it's not who I assume. But the scribe says otherwise. It probably is, dude. So take my hand. Intuition, body, mind. Yeah, it just gets repetitive after a while, so putting it away. Okay, then it's not you. Oh, this is mixed up. Dude, I want to put these cards away. What do they want? So take my hand. Put these away, please. Thank you. Thank you. That dang King of Fire just will not rest. It's a good rondo. I liked it very much. Holding up the whole world in his hand. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Very deadhead tonight. Okay. Yeah, I haven't done tarot in a minute. So, yeah, I'm gonna take a second on that. I'm wondering if Blake Lively is still here. Because he wanted one of these, I think, or wanted to get some insight on that. Maybe he was bugged off by this, but I never do personal readings. What was the third one we chose? The Dream Oracle. Is the Crow Court still here? I don't know what happened. Oh, because I got disconnected, so people left. I don't know if they came back. I guess I'll roll an ad. And then also, if y'all want to play with the paper oracle, it's a lot of fun. It's just somebody has to pick words. But it's like 10 out of 10 a great time and really great messages. So, yay, I'm glad. I don't want to. Unfortunately for you, that was my plan. Oh my god, I love to invent sketch comedy skits in my mind. So, if anybody wants to pick, let me know. I think I'll just do a quick ad to kind of collect myself and get into the next deck. I think that will go with the pink deck next because it's a little bit I know, right? And I made it all spiritual and shit. Do you want to play? It's fun. Me too. No, we can do it right now. You just have to pick the words. I'll come back if it's the same one. And you should stick around, and you can stick around for tarot, but we still have 30 minutes for the pre-roll timer anyway, but if I roll ads, it'll be an hour, and then we'll have however much time to work with, but. Okay, so pick an element. It's just like the basics: water, earth, air, fire. The basics, the 4 elements. It's spelled with an E to make it even with fire. A-I-R-E. Okay, tragedy, comedy, practical, personal. True. C-O-M-E-D-Y. Tragedy, comedy, personal, practical. P-E-R-S-O-N-A-L. Tragedy, comedy, personal, practical. Are these all the same? They're all odds? Oh my god. I'm gonna have to fix this one too. Maybe practical gets you off. Okay, so yeah, last one. Tragedy. That's what I'm saying, and then I had to switch the words, but it was 3 out of 4 were the same, but this one's 4 out of 4, and I'm like, damn. So I made the other one 50-50, but this I think is 4 out of 4. Spirit chose the words, not me. So anyway, tragedy. There will always be something to lift your spirit. Let it. 777. Perfect. Lights and sounds. Stand your ground. Halo. And then an eyeball. Skin message. I like that one. That's cool. I also have these. I really like these. I hope I just randomly collect. I hope people just hand me playing cards for the rest of my life and I just build this like deck. My Sharpie and card aesthetic for life. I don't know what that is, like poor Italian or something. I don't know. I'm kind of so about it though. I hope people just constantly give me cards. Loose cards, miscellaneous cards, so I can just keep collecting this deck. That would be lovely. You just hand me a card. Really cool ones though, with like nice backs and stuff. Yeah, that'd be great. Okay. It's 3. I don't know if I do reversals for this deck because they are kind of both upright and in reverse, but the battle is on, but know that we won, for the future intact has already begun. It was in the reverse though, so maybe it's about choosing your own destiny. You are headed there. Keep going forward. Even if you look back, remember fondly. What's the point of being king in an unhappy castle? For something fall when weakness is peril. I don't know. When weakness is peril. I don't know what that says. This is stupid. Yeah. See, because we took a little break. I think it was good. These should stay in my bag on the go. So true. So true. Man, I wish there was more of that. Okay. I'm gonna take a quick break, and we're going to do the pink deck, which is like soulmate love readings, and then the dream oracle, hopefully. But if I'm too exhausted, then we'll just plan for it tomorrow, because I'll be streaming tomorrow. Okay, so let's just 3 minutes, and I'll be right back. Thank you. I was snacking. It's a Luna bar, dude. Sarah Paulson's on our way to town. I'm like starting to, store food. What the fuck is this? Triscuit box. Alright. Yeah, I always try to warn people about my readings and they never trust it. Alright, so pink deck is a gift of a lover's, very much romantic relationship. So if you're in one or want one or desire one with someone, by all means, let this be your reading. Otherwise, this deck also represents soulmate connections. This one, I don't even know where it came from, but it's called the Neo Rider Waite. No. Yeah. Yes, it's very lovey. So it's also soulmate connections, and soulmate connections can be your romantic relationships, but soulmates are going to be the most basic bond that two humans can share together because they are there through the thick and thins. They're there to hold your hand through the whole process. They're lifelong mates. They are easy to click with. They are symbiotic to your life. They adapt with you and evolve with you and grow with you. So they're very, very much the standard between two people. So this can be romantic relationships or friendships or certain members of your family that aren't just having like karmic ties with you, you know? Yeah. Yeah. I kind of think everyone we meet can be categorized in any of them as any of them, you know? Or I guess the people we form relationships with and not just meet, but oh, good night. Good night. So yeah, just keep in mind that if there's nobody who's suiting it romantically, just think of some of the other soulmates in your life. If nothing's resonating. By the way, I did feel that wall of confusion sensation come back while I was on the ad break, and I thought about how I wanted to just end the stream and go sit quietly, and I love when people try to fucking fuck with me, but at least I know it, right? Okay. Ooh. Soulmate reading. Lots of masculine energy right now, too. Holy hell. A masculine is here right now, huh? JK, but I mean, what the fuck? Bro. Well, listen, they're around you. I don't know what's going on. You know, though, you have options. You just don't see them as, like, mature, viable options. Holy fuck balls, bro. Go to bed. What time is it right now? Kind of like, what the fuck? The Hierophant. It's me. No, I'm just kidding. I attract them. It's me, the Hierophant, wondering what the fuck's going on with people who are just, like, obsessively, obsessingly obsessed over me and then, like, also hate my guts or don't speak to me or whatever the fuck. It keeps them up at night. They don't realize that I stay up at night regardless. Like, I'm not kept up at night. I choose to stay up at night, right? That's so sweet. I think maybe it's not. I don't know. And then I had to go digging for the fucking Three of Cups, which I like the Three of Cups. Whether it's third-party energy or not, first of all, welcome to the life of polyamory, baby. Celebration, feminine energy coming together, and really, like, these two are for me, okay? Jesus fuck. Yes, I already know. We had that Knight of Cups at the fucking bottom of the deck, top of the deck. Where was that? Yeah, the top of the deck is Knight of Cups. Okay. Bottom of the deck is Nine of Swords. So some water sign man, look, the star, Aquarius season, Justice, Libra. Some man's up all night wondering why he got everything and he still can't sleep at night because he's like, I want to go give this bitch my cup and everybody else drank out of it but her and she's the only one I want drinking out of it, blah, blah, blah. And I fucking stab myself in the motherfucking back, blah. and not taking any offers. hating the offers. All the cups are empty. Kick them over. It's gotta be you. The world wanted it to work out, and you didn't. Only you. Kind of, whatever. Going against the grain is going mad, right? There could be like a couple that's interested in you and you don't realize it yet. I don't know if you know any poly couples that might apply, and they're like, gosh, they really want to bring it up to you, but they just like don't know how or if you'd be interested or anything like that. They probably were talking about it while you were sleeping. Could be, anyways. Someone that maybe you don't even realize they're in a relationship. But yeah, no offers are coming in. King of Wands, kind of sliding around. Emotions are all over the place. A little bit of an emotional roller coaster. Some kind of blockage face down here. Knight of Swords coming in, ready to take action, ready to communicate. And the Knight of Wands showing up right after the King of Wands and the Emperor here. So really following the passion, going where the fire leads and where the road is taking you and all that. Maybe, yeah, it could be that, yeah, didn't know how to tell you about the relationship or something. But then, like, yeah, Nine of Discs is basically Empress in this deck, so... that felt kind of brief. I don't know how much more in depth we need to go into things. Like, I don't really get what it's about necessarily, but it seems like it could be anything, right? I'm hearing like Dido. I don't know if Dido is a thing for anybody. And I want to thank you for giving me the best day of my life. And just to be with you is giving me the best day of my life. Hey, yeah, I'm home. Yeah, Dido. My tea's gone cold, I'm wondering why. Okay, as short as that was, I feel like there's not much more with this. There's a lot of emotional turmoil. There's a lot of emotions to go through. There's a lot of feelings to sort out. But the thing is, you need to do it together. You need to come to terms with the fact that you can't just like kind of like handle that all on your own necessarily, and you have to let it wreck you. You have to have the vulnerable moment in which you can confess those things rather than keeping your guard up, because that alone is stressing you out enough to really not make this thing move forward. Maybe it was you. Ace of Wands. Dick game not strong enough? Don't know. Dick game too strong? Don't know. So true. Mine. People are too possessive for my likings. That's why the Fool is always on a journey, right? Looking back, was it worth it? I think maybe, yeah. Five of Swords, nothing that good, nothing that bad. Made out even, nothing, no losses. King of Swords, Ace of Wands. Coming in with communication based on the feelings that have surfaced. Yeah, some people who like cannot understand how to maintain multiple relationships do not understand that like people have multiple children and you don't just pick a favorite and only choose to love one and have a relationship with one. You maintain a relationship with all your children and love them equally. You also have a best friend, right? But then you have like multiple best friends over your lives, and you know that each one of them play a different role in your life, and therefore none of them are necessarily the best and number one, but they're all your best friends in different ways, and you maintain relationships with them. Like, it's very weird how much people reject the idea of multiple romantic relationships as if it's any more difficult than maintaining multiple friendships if they are actually good enough people to be actual friend to other people, you know? Like, it's a very weird thing to be weird about. when it's just something that we always do. And then people are like, I don't know. If there was somehow sex involved, I think that I would lose it. It's like, really? That's what would put you over the edge? Interesting. Possessive much? Because then those people who are so staunchly into monogamy are also, right, they also are the biggest ones who cheat. The ones who are the most afraid of polyamorous relationships are the ones who cheat and lie to their spouses. I see whole monogamous relationships built on fucking lies and nothing. And more lies. And like, that's it. Yeah. Oh yeah, and love triangles too is such a good point where you're like torn between two people or non-committal, right? But once they're mine, they're mine. Like, what kind of fucking psychotic shit are you people into? Straight people are absolutely not okay, and I'm starting to question monogamy in general. But I understand some people are just not super social and not super sexual, and I understand that type of monogamy. Where people are like, yeah, I don't want to date anymore ever again. Cool, cool, cool. And they're just like happy together. I do know that healthy monogamy does exist. And it's usually people who, once again, don't have the wandering eye or the feeling like they might want to just fuck random people, but they also don't give a fuck what other people do because they're in love and have a healthy relationship. And people who actively hate on polyamory simply probably just hate the loss of control more than anything because they like to be in a monogamous relationship in the front and cheating in the back. That's like, mm-hmm. The only thing that's toxic is the lack of communication. And once again, I just said there's healthy examples of monogamy, and it's the ones who stay out of other people's business. And the people I'm talking about right now are the people who loudly say that they're against polyamory because they're most likely the ones who are cheating on their spouses in their monogamous relationships. But why you feel a need to start saying that other types of relationships is toxic is kind of a weird angle. Somebody sounds threatened. Yeah. You know, we're really talking about cheaters. And you can still cheat in polyamory too. That's kind of the whole thing is like people just act like it's somehow worse as if they don't even really realize what they're doing. You know? Kind of true. So you could have everything you want, but do you? Questionable. Gonna carry that weight. Carry that weight till it's over. Yes, yes. Don't wake up and piss in the Cheerios and then complain about Cheerios getting pissed in, really. You know? Don't make it okay to make fun of a certain group of people if you don't want that group of people to speak back and say, honestly, what about you? And then you're like suddenly offended that, oh my God, how could you think that of me when they've been running their mouths the whole time? That's why I find it so ironic how, like, there's this crowd of people who are like, oh, what's with all the gay stuff that's satanic? Like all the queer, the color red and like Satan and look what they're doing to these children and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, bro, you've been saying that gay people go to hell since day one. You have raised us on the concept of being gay, being sin, and therefore all of us being sinners and akin to Satan. You have compared us to Satan and banished us to hell and told us that we were from Satan and of Satan. And then the second we play the part, the second we say, okay, and accept it, you're mad and say, look, we were right. Okay. Okay. Let's put the crutches down, all right? Let's put the fucking crutches, churches, crosses. Let's just put them down, okay? Unclutch the pearls. Unclench the jaw. Pick it up off the floor, right? How are you going to sit here and say all that shit and then be fucking shocked? Right, right. Sam Smith at the Grammys. Even Doja Cat's little outfit. People are pissed about that stuff. They are pissed about everything. And it's like, once again, you probably shouldn't have been calling us satanic then, just for being gay. And now we're showing you what it really looks like, and you're mad. Not to mention, in the 80s, it was a bunch of straight white dudes doing rock and roll that got accused of being the Satanists, not the gay kids. So, like, satanic panic has always been very real. But to see it in the queer community feels very appropriate based on what the Christians have been saying to us. And I cannot understand why they're mad. You know, at least we're being honest in your great opinion. This deck feels like it's done. I'm going to put it away. It was a short reading, but the soulmate stuff usually is pretty easy. Nothing too in depth. No one who was here that was too curious. No cards are coming out. I'm just going to put them back. Move on to the next. Make sure we get to do Dream Oracle, yeah? The Hermit at the bottom of the deck, Virgo energy. And Chili Lily. Silly Ellie. Okay, so Guardian of the Night Tarot is my newest deck. It was a gift to me from a fellow witch. It's the deck that I use for, it's sort of like dream interpretations or like symbolism in life and in dreams. And it's also sort of like going back, so like reading the Akashic Records and there's a couple of things, kind of like guidance for the shadow self, like learning how to cope, kind of. You know what's funny? The West is a bunch of liberal LGBT Nazis, but they forgot the commas. Think of it this way. That's basically the three major food groups in America, right? Like that's pretty much us over here. Don't know what y'all thought it was, but some of them are definitely Nazis. It's pretty insane. It's pretty crazy how there's still just like white power people who like cannot wrap their heads around why that's not okay. It's kind of sickening. It's actually like really uncomfortable. It's like, how is it 2023 and y'all are just like, yeah, well, of course white people are better. Like, what? In what world do you think the biggest losers and the biggest bullies are the fucking winners? Go watch a movie, go read a book. You'll realize that the hero is never gonna be the one who was mean to everybody. You dumb shits. Like, shut the fuck up. Oh my god. And what are we gonna do, you know? Really nothing. It's like, have a good attitude and enjoy life every second and waking moment that you have it. Because of that, you know? They seem a little caught up with the rest of the world. You don't think? Is this, you know? It would be very stupid. I think that's the thing, is like, men get worked up and get emotional, and then they want to make these threats or do these things, and then they kind of sit back and they're like, damn, what the fuck am I doing? What am I thinking? You know? In the same way that we were discussing how, like, the Bush regime was going to carry on with or without George W., and he was mostly a fucking idiotic, complicit puppet than he was anything else for that family, right? I often think of people like Kim Jong-un, who, like, you gotta understand, an entire nation was under his father's spell. Like, the whole nation was convinced Kim Jong-il was like the leader, the one, and he like brainwashed an entire country to worship him and him alone, cut them off from all contact to the outside world. And then he had a son. Like, okay. So, like, the kid doesn't know anything, like, really much different at that point. He's growing up probably very similarly to the rest of them, and it wasn't until he was a certain age or even until he came to power that he started exploring the idea of the outside world. And that's probably why one of the first things he did was, like, invite basketball players. Because he was like, yo, I like basketball. It's kind of crazy. Or was that Kim Jong-il? How long has Kim Jong-un been in office? Office? What do you call that? Is it still called office? I don't know. So it's just really, it's crazy to think that that's his whole reality is like, did he ever have a choice and does he have a choice now? And I think that some of these people contemplate these things more because of how open source everything is and because of how intricate the global economy is and how sensitive and how big these weapons are. I think a lot of them are saying these things and then like kind of also not knowing what's going on in the same way that a lot of us are just like making shit up throughout our days at work. And it's sick because they're playing with people's lives and there's actual wars going on, and it's not fair to minimize all of this to being as trivial as a stupid bully threat because it's much bigger than that. But I think that they also do get stressed out about yielding that much power. That's very hard to do. It's like not something most people do want to do. And if you do want to do it, you probably are some kind of sociopath who's totally capable of annihilating half the world. But what is the actual point of doing it, I think, is what they have to step back and realize when it comes to nukes. It's one thing, to drop a bomb, but to drop a fucking nuclear bomb is kind of a whole other thing where they're like, right. The weaponry really got things out of control for no reason. The technology also got things out of control, and they kind of went in two different directions at the same time, and that's why I feel like there is this, like, push and pull in this time, and especially because I think it's Neptune is transiting out of Aquarius and into Pluto or something, and there's just like exactly. It's like they need to learn to manage their emotions. They do need counseling. We do need to start vetting our politicians a bit deeper than just like who are they and what do they do. Like they should be regulated by people in their mental capacities. Hello. There is some wild stuff going on in Tennessee. What the fuck? I just got chilled because I kind of forgot about this. And I even told someone, like, oh, I'm going to talk about this on stream. And I totally didn't even think about it till right now. I watched videos today of these politicians and these state reps from Tennessee asking for them to make. No, I don't either. I see what comes on my feed because I know my friends are going to share the things that are important to see. You know what I mean? I don't watch the news. They want to bring back Jim Crow in Tennessee as if, one, they didn't turn the prison system into a local Jim Crow's fucking kind of bidding across the nation as it is. But two, some state representative literally got up in the House of Representatives to ask for public lynchings to come back and like was just dead ass about it, and everyone was just let him do it. Like, what the actual goddamn fuck? Yeah, politicians should pass competency tests just like everybody else does who's working for minimum wage, and that's part of the reason this setup is such a fucking scam is because like no one questioned it. They just didn't want to do that job, so they didn't even think twice about who was actually doing that job, nor did they think about the necessity of the job itself. Like, why is this happening to us? That is the question. Why is it happening to us? Right. And then I honestly think what's gonna happen is the U.S. is gonna have to disband. We are way too big of a country. It makes no sense. Russia probably would sooner invade us with the threat of a nuke than they would actually drop a nuke, because who wouldn't want this place? But of course, if you have to dump millions and billions of dollars into fixing it, it's not gonna be worth a fucking damn. You're gonna go broke trying to fucking do it. Okay, so hello. What really needs to happen is this dismemberment of the US, and that's probably why they introduced real IDs, because they were kind of introducing us to the concept that you might soon need a passport in the same way you do in Europe. The sheer size of the US is fucking ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's one country the size of other continents that have many nations among them. And the thing is, it's not being run functionally. If we have racist ass white people standing up in the fucking Senate on public television asking for lynchings to come back while they are trying to state a case to reinstate Jim Crow laws. Okay, it's clearly not functional. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. And that's the thing. You have a major population in each region of the U.S. already. It's essentially already five separate countries. You have New York City, and you have Miami, Florida, and you have pretty much Austin, Texas, or something else comparable in that area. Pretty much Austin, I guess. Denver. There it is, Denver. Denver and Austin working together in overtime. Then you got LA and all the California basically holds down the whole area, but you can throw Vegas in there just for fun. And then you can just give the whole top up to fucking Seattle. Can be the big city for the whole range. Include Detroit in there. Just make the big top, you know? Like, it's pretty much already... It's pretty much already like that. There's already so much gerrymandering, these ridiculous electoral colleges. Like, we just need to kind of let it go and realize that this isn't working as the gigantic conglomerate of a country that it is. It's not Mississippi, it's Tennessee. That's why it's maybe not hitting for you. It's Tennessee. Right, Texas could have, but they're better off taking Oklahoma and Colorado and Kansas with them, and, trying to get New Mexico in there, though they would probably be sovereignty, right? It does. It does. And you could easily, again, swallow up these, like, Idaho states that just don't really have much going on or much of a population as part of your country. Every state doesn't need to be a country because a lot of them are dysfunctional. And again, it would be too low population to actually justify it. But as long as you have at least one major city per country, you could still do it. They could still do it. And they probably need to, quite frankly. They probably just need to. The U.S. is dysfunctional at the size that it's at. And yeah, right, exactly. Or we give Hawaii back to the Pacific Islanders. We just, like, surrender Hawaii as a U.S. state and just, like, let it be one of the islands, you know? Exactly. There's such a distinct population per every region. Yeah, it's not even 50-50. It's not even as simple as saying Democrat versus Republican and red and blue. It's like so far beyond straight or gay or whatever the fuck. And Alaska, same thing. Give it back to Canada. Give it back to the indigenous people. Why are we holding on to that shit? It's kind of cool to be able to go places as an American and still be in America or whatever. But just give it back to Canada. Like, well, this is kind of weird. Let's just open up the borders a little bit. You know what I mean? It would be kind of like, yeah. We're not as simple as the North versus South, though. That's what we were just saying. Like, California is its own thing. What would you call that? That's the West. It's not North versus South. It's North versus South, the versus East versus West versus mid-region that is so uninvolved with all of it. People are so... think that people are political, but, like, at the end of the day, there are people in the back roads who have no idea, like, what the world is like out there. It's so much more complicated than that. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's so many people in between, and there's people who don't even understand the concept of imperialism and colonialism. And there are, that also doesn't factor in indigenous, right? Um, which is another factor. Is there's a whole other country within this country that's like, yeah, we'd like love our country back. We like don't even know how this happened either, other than like guns. So petty violence, murdering people, getting them sick on purpose, stuff like that. Kind of crazy, right? Especially when you think about some of it still being owned by France at the time. Like the Louisiana Purchase, that was like the whole bottom half of the country, wasn't it? Or am I thinking of the wrong thing? No, it's not. And then they try to make laws on what they teach in schools as if they can, like, just edit history however they want. White spiritual. Yeah, it is. Manifest destiny. Boy, oh boy. It's absolute a shit show. It is an absolute shit show to get through American history, and it's very strange. 11111 again. The thing that's crazy to me is like, the people who kind of like discover these things. I don't remember, because I didn't even realize that the West Coast wasn't participating in the first place. That sounds like I'd watch it, but I don't have HBO. I can, next time I am on a TV with HBO, I will keep that in mind. Kind of thing. I don't think I know who that is. Mm. Mm. So young, 21 years old. God damn, bro. Fucking terrible. Yeah, no way. I'm lucky nobody listens to me. Probably would be dead by now. Not that y'all are nobody, but they're like a crowd of five ain't really gonna start a revolution, but it's all about personal efforts. Oh man, we just missed 420, y'all. Um, hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna roll some ads and think about a lot of this. And then I'm gonna crack into this next deck because it's Akashic Records, and I feel like we're starting to get into that territory of like, yeah, okay, thinking back, going back. Um, oh, I know. I think keeping me where I'm at is the pushback in a sense. Like, I mean, my life doesn't go unaffected necessarily, if that's what you meant. But absolutely. Um, yes, I think this is a good time or a good conversation to go into the Akashic Records. Okay, so let's take a recollection moment, take some deep breaths during the ad break. Plus, everyone knows Mountain Dew is fucking the drink of gamers, okay? Like, it's Mountain Dew. Specifically Code Red, but like Mountain Dew in general. That's funny. You mean like, yeah, like the yellow ones? It's funny that the Akashic Records had one. Okay, so when I first heard about the Akashic Records, I remember too, it probably was maybe Barnes and Noble in fucking 2009. But, I thought it was more physical. I've gone into this a little bit when I pulled out this deck. Yeah, that's cool. I always thought it was like this physical thing where you go and see the Akashic Records and there was like a physically kept up with record of all of time. I don't know why I thought that. I don't know what the fuck. I think it's because of the way people talk about it and it is perceived to be that way. So it's like there's this I don't know. Kind of a need to. I miss that. They changed it up where they kind of like can bound a lot of it, and I don't think they carry as much. It was weird the last time I tried to find it. It's different now. And yes, the Barnes & Noble Spiritual section was fucking blitz. I'm glad you know. If you know, you know. This is the hardest deck to swallow because it's the hardest deck to shuffle and vice versa. So I always said the Akashic Records is like this physical keeping of records of all the time. But it's essentially supposed to be, as said, the record of time, essentially. And when it comes to like your Akashic Records, it would be your own lineage, your own soul, your own connections, whether you would look back and trace your bloodline, right? Because there's also, right, and it's the physical part of you, right? Like it's the Donnie Darko Akasha. As bad of a reference as that sound, because Buddhism obviously existed way before Donnie Darko, but Donnie Darko did an excellent job describing it. The flow within you that flows through time, basically, right? Like I think maybe I looked this up when we were talking about it before. But yeah, it's time. It's time. Regardless, I think, right? So I know it is like the very essence of time within human life, from what I interpreted it as, or recall from, once again, I think looking it up the last time I used these cards, because I don't, like I said, I didn't really understand what the fuck the Akashic Records were, you know, and it wasn't until I got this deck that I was given the gift of reading them. Oh, the ether, that's what I was saying. I was like, there's something from the soul, and it connects you, and it moves through time. It's, yes, the ether, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I know I just read this, so I know what you're talking about, but it's not something I've studied. Yes. The ethereal pull within you. The connection to that plane, too. So, yes, all your past lives would be stored in there, but that's also why it's very much the astral plane as well, right? Look, we just said that at the same time. Or saw it at the same time. I would say so. And I was gaining an understanding just based on listening to people talk about it, really not looking it up or anything. That's kind of how all of my tarot comes along. Same with the twin flame readings. Like, I wasn't seeking to do twin flame readings and getting a twin flame deck to do the readings. I was using an alien deck, and the fucking alien said, you do twin flame readings now. And I was like, what the fuck? And they're like, yeah, well, they're cosmically divine connections that span across dimensions and universes that take a very long time to come together. Okay. There you go. Right, like I said, it's like the physical time within a person. That's why I said Donnie Darko, because I was talking about the stuff. That's what made it click for me when I was reading about it. It was like, ah, yes, that's what they mean. And so the record is that what it passes through. Well, so, to me, it's all kind of intangibly the same to an extent. Even just the mere release of dimethyltryptamine in the brain. Yeah, I put it on. I had it on during one of my streams this week, just on silent, just because obviously I can't have the sound. But it is a great movie. I remember rewatching it a couple winters ago and being like unimpressed with the first half, and then by the second half, I was like, you couldn't do it any other way. It's such a good movie. And I just absolutely adore Jake Gyllenhaal in it. I just think he is the best. And Maggie is exemplary herself. So, love the Gyllenhaals. I think it's funny that I was just basing what I was saying based on how I felt when I read the things that I read, and because I have the deck in my hands, and it seems like you have a very rigid interpretation of data that was comprised many years ago, and aren't necessarily supposed to go unquestioned, unremained, or taken quite so literally. Six of Cups. Sometimes it's about lending each other a trunk. Connecting in new ways, reaching out and holding someone just because. Knight of Wands. Burning down the house. This is not like the typical Knight of Wands energy. It feels very territorial. Very wild. That's the Marvel reference I don't get, right? The Empress. Very deep in contemplation, because these are very dreamy cards. So where the Knight of Wands is once a passionate, upstanding masculine, and the Empress is a well put together feminine, these are almost like the core reactions of our being, and they're more intrinsic to our souls because they are the subconscious, they are the dream states, they are the unknown, these are the shadows. So we see this territorialness and this contemplativeness in the masculine and the feminine here. But we see the magician reaching for something and willing to go there and create it anyways, and to kind of like make things happen and to be the spark in the dark. Got this card on its side, face down, the Knight of Cups, man. You gotta decide what you're doing and do it. Nobody has time for you to not make up your mind. Nobody has time for you to play games. Nobody has time to come get you. Nobody has time to kind of sit there and like coach you into something that they've already told you what to do. I cannot fathom why you would be awake right now watching this, but Knight of Cups on its side. Pour it out. I don't know. Okay? I don't know what is so indecisive in your heart, of all hearts, but High Priestess, you know, right? You know. And then I've got this pile of face down cards. Okay. Just to clear this. Akasha and Akashic would indicate that it is of the same thing, anyways, right? If Akashic is a state of Akasha, it's Akasha's records. The Akashic records. It's Akasha's records. Because it's the state of everything. It's everything that ever existed. Just that's